Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
In the heart of Australia, there exists a track that has become synonymous with speed, danger, and difficulty. It is known by many names, but today the iRacing Israel League will simply call it their next challenge. Hello everyone, and welcome to Bathurst for round 2 of the iRacing Israel League. My name is DJ Clark, joined here in the commentary booth by Sam Fitzpatrick with our director and producer Lewis Ward behind the scenes. And Sam, the drivers had their work cut out for them last time out in Laguna Seca, but here at Mount Panorama, it is going to be taking everything to a whole new level.
Absolutely, DJ. This is one of the most challenging circuits in the world, maybe even the most challenging circuit in the world. The walls are so close, you got those elevation changes, the bumps unsettle the car so easily. And so this is going to be possibly the toughest race of the season.
Yeah, very well could be. And for these drivers here, it really is going to be a race of two different types of the circuit. You have the run going down the mountain straight and then coming off the hill onto the Conrad straight down into the chase. That is where we're going to be seeing a lot of the draft coming into play. But once we get up and over the mountain here, it's almost like you're running on a street circuit. Very, very narrow, very technical, and overtaking going to be at an absolute premium around here.
Yeah, for sure, and it's such a bipolar circuit, I guess, isn't it? As you say, it's so easy to overtake down into the chase, and so now around the rest of the track. So a lot of what we see often is just drivers waiting behind, just keeping in play. If you can get within half a second coming out of first elbow, you are going to have a chance. So a lot of the time, if you're the chasing driver at least, it's just surviving that mountain section and then really launching your attack come the second half of the lap.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be, and I think qualifying here will be of a pretty big importance here. A 2-lap session for these drivers. That will be followed by a 20-minute race around this long 3.86-mile circuit. And then, of course, we will have our second race for the day, inverting those top 10. And as we always tend to do, I anticipate there being a little bit of a battle for that top 10 position. As we watch right now, Ruben Chacha working his way down out of the chase, going down through Murray's corner right now. A very, very tricky corner to get right. It seems like it should be so easy there, Sam, but it really isn't. It's just so difficult, that 90-degree left.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, there's a few of those corners around this track, turn 1 as well. Super easy to run wide, so that's just going to be the story of the day. I mean, if I'm totally honest, DJ, I'm going to be preferring those corners to the top of the mountain corners, honestly. I think that's going to be even tougher for the drivers. slaloming your way through. And of course, it's so many commitment corners as well, because these cars will stick. These cars, you know, they slide about a little bit to the F4s. They're not quite as grippy as the F3s, for example. But they will stick with you if you push it that hard. And the drivers, of course, that's why they practice, need to know where that limit is. But often you can push it that little bit too much, and all of a sudden you can look like a fool.
We ride on board here with a driver who is not looking like a fool, and that is Yaroslav Malkov right now, who currently sits on pole position to the tune of about 1.5 tenths of a second, and his qualifying ticks over right now. He will hold on to that pole position. So let's go ahead and run you through the grid here. Malkov in pole position ahead of Chachashvili. Then it's going to be Dorian Tabachnik and Nadav Yaron in the row behind them. Shiran Kaner will be in P5, followed by Yossi Gabe, with Cerulli and Tal Stern in 7th and 8th. The 5th row will be Really Sir and Tomer Ventura, followed by Papachado and Michael Scherling there in 12th place. 11th place will be Bertie Galili, followed by Arnon Levy, with then Mark Zubarev and Ofer Mazuz in 16th. 17th will be Aviad Yamakarov and then Ariel Debush in 18th. John Chico lines up 19th, followed by Matty Bakar, Amir Mashulam, and Eden Shear round out your 22-car grid. That is a lot of cars to get through here, and as we've seen a couple of times, we may see a little bit of coming together here into the first corner, held corner off of the start. It kind of feeds you out here onto the mountain straight. Drivers are going to have to be very careful.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be an element that they're going to have to be looking out for, are these drivers. And I mean, if you're in the midfield here, you are just thinking, let's get through this opening lap. But maybe you'll be thinking I could gain a few places, but it can get so messy. And of course, if you just have one driver spinning through turn 2, that could be curtains for a whole lot. Then we could have a track blockage potentially. Hopefully, we just keep everyone in play. And hopefully we have a tight battle at the top. I mean, Ruben Charger looked really dominant last time out, but Yari Malkov with that strong qualifying lap, he looks to be out there to win tonight.
Yeah, certainly does, and this will be race 1. As we said, race 2 coming a little bit later for you after this first 20-minute race. Waiting for the drivers to take to the grid right now. Ofer Mazuz, the only driver who has yet to appear as of right now. Looks like that 16th place driver is who we are waiting for, but he's not going to have a whole lot of time here to get himself gridded up before the lights come on, and indeed there the clock ticks over. I'm not sure if Mazuz is going to be able to get out in time. There we actually see him coming into pit lane, but 3 lights, 4 lights, and there goes the green. We are racing in Bathurst. It's a good start there from Malkov, trying to come up behind him. There is a little bit, we see Kaner in the back of the field trying to make a little bit of a move there on your own. Looks like the first 3 or 4 cars have been able to get through. A little bit of side-by-side there with Papachado and Galili farther back in the field. John Chico already starting to make some moves as they work their way onto the mountain straight.
Yeah, desperately trying to break the draft right now is Malkov, but I think he's going to be under big pressure heading into turn 2. There's the move from Chacha. Might even get his nose ahead, but he just waits in behind. We've got 3 wide just in the background. Levy, Stern, Goodbye, super close to one another as they slalom their way through for the first time. Well mannered there. And we've just got Ventura and Scherling alongside. I think they're the furthest 2 drivers up the order to be alongside around this part of the circuit. That's so risky. You can so easily get crowded out. Just a little bit of wheel contact, and that will be your race over. But that was an excellent move in the end from Michael Scherling to get ahead of Tommy Ventura, and Avrim Papachado is only just behind as well. He'll be looking to pass, and look at this guy, Ruben Chacha, he's also looking to pass.
Looking very, very aggressive here as they come up and over Skyline right now, diving down through the corners here into the Dipper and down through the S's. A little bit offline there with Chacha. That's going to throw him off ever so slightly, and it looks like Tabachnik could have a little bit of a run. We've got our first casualty of the mountain, though. It looks like the number 48 there has gotten into trouble, as well as Tomer Ventura.
Yeah, that's a bit of an odd one. Was Kana with Ventura? I thought Ventura was a little bit further up the road, but Kana wasn't doing too bad himself as well. And yeah, that is a huge shame as here comes Chacha up the inside of Malkov. And look at Tabachnik as well, really close. He's going to get a good draft on these guys. The this track isn't quite wide enough to go to or 3 wide, sorry. Certainly wide enough to go 3 wide. Oh dear, he made the top 3 all make contact. Tabashnik too late on the brakes. He wasn't even going for a move, but he's caused absolute madness right there. It is Yaron who takes the lead. Malkov skipped across the grass. He may not have too much damage, but I fear for our championship leader, Ruven Chacha, who is off the circuit still and may well need repairs.
And speaking of repairs, though, it looks like Malkov and Chabachnik both coming down in pit lane, and that is going to completely throw everything else around here. Looks like a little bit of side-by-side further back in the field there between Bakar and Mashulam as they go down into Hell Corner right now, trying to work that out as they go. It's a little bit of Noah's Ark as we exit out of the corner with DeBush and Chico up ahead of them, 2x2 off in the back. There is the number 39 machine. That is Levi that looks like he's had a little bit of a problem, but he's going to be able to get that car pointed the right way. A little bit of damage on the front of that car. We've got to keep our eyes focused here, though, as slicing and dicing coming up the mountain straight. Are they going to be able to sort themselves out in time for Griffin's Bend? Yes, it looks like it. We're back into single file.
Yeah, that was, of course, much higher positions now that the top 2 or top 3, sorry, have all taken each other out. And look at these two. They've really sprinted away, Yaron and Levy. 1/10 of a second between the two of them. Now, they've really got to think of the long game here, surely. I mean, that's tempting for Levy to go ahead. He may feel like he's faster. Even if he does go for a move, he's got to make sure that it's a high percentage move, that it's a move that won't lose them too much time in comparison to one another. Because this should be a fairly easy one too. I mean, 3 seconds to the rest of the field in a fairly short race, as I think DeBush has just run wide. And if he's hit the curb on the outside, oh, well, he's going to hit the wall there. So I was going to say he was lucky. That time, he was not lucky. That was straight into the wall, and he clearly wasn't confident on this lap 2 of the race.
Yeah, you've got to be very careful when you come up and over the hill there. If you get even the most minor contact in these open wheel cars, that can be enough to damage it. But we've got to focus here on Levi Cerulli as there they go side by side with Yaron going down into the chase right now. The 46 going to have the advantage as they work their way through the right-hander before jumping onto the binders here into the cutting itself. Is that going to be enough ahead? Yes, it is. That is going to be Levi Cerulli up ahead there of Yaron.
And already he's been able to get a bit of a break. I mean, I was saying earlier on how if you're the chasing car, you're just looking to survive the mountain usually and then make the move on the second part of the circuit. But he's pretty much broken the draft there as Levy. I mean, as far as I'm aware, on most single-seaters on iRacing, I think it's the case with the F4, there tends to be sort of quite a binary kind of on-off with the draft, where if you're below, say, 0.6 of a second, then it'll be very strong. If it's more than 0.6, then it'll be pretty much be nothing. And Levy's already got a good gap, albeit I think Yaron had a very good hell corner and was able to get back into that draft region and starting to make up some time. Here's Galili. This is between drivers in different classes right now, and Galili behind Chico right now. And we have a spin there from Stern. I think Stern was in 3rd position at the start of this lap, and that is a crucial mistake right there at Quarry Bend.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just a little bit of too much rear brake bias there, jumping onto the binders. Not exactly unheard of. They're coming off of the Long Mountain Straight and into Quarry Bend, having to deal that out. But right now, it is Michael Sherling holding on to 3rd place. Really, sir, in the number 36, looking this way, looking that way, trying to maybe elicit a little bit of an error. As we said earlier, you can't really get a pass here as we ride on board with Papachado here, trying to hold in behind as they rise over McPhillamy Park, trying to see here down through Skyline and through the S's. This is all pretty much a one-way street. You can't go too wide through here, but it's all just about setting yourself up for Forest Elbow.
I think Papa Shadow there hit the wall slightly on the inside. You can sort of get away with that depending on what the angle of your tyre is, albeit because we don't exactly recommend it. Now we've got the draft. Everyone's got the draft on one another, really, apart from Sherling. He's not going to be a sitting duck because he's got just about a big enough gap. There's Euron. A couple of good laps here from Euron, and he's put himself back into play. Might go for the move. I think this is a bit unnecessary for him to go for the move right now because he was a fair bit off. It's risky going through the kink, but that gap is so big right now. Even if they do battle for a few laps, they should keep the lead, should these top 2. Sherling clear of Sir, it looks like, about 0.3 of a second, the gap for third position. So he survived that first chase, albeit needs to extend the gap if he's going to be safe for many more laps. And I think that might be what's about to happen, because there goes Papashade round the outside. Nothing he can do there. The track's a bit too narrow, and that curb on the outside can really scupper your traction as well. But still they run side by side. Stern and Chico looking to get ahead. Oh, contact between the two of them. I looked away just as that happened. Papashudo and Sir both round, and a very good result potential for the pair of them has just taken a big hit.
And I think that may have been Chico there that got into the side of them. Let's go back and take a look at this replay. No, excuse me, I think that was Tal Stern that got into the number 36. As we watch this back, yep, that's exactly what it was. Just enough to tip the number 36 of Really Sir off into the outside, and that's what collects both of them there. But Tal Stern now riding in 5th place. John Chico able to take advantage of some others' misfortune and move himself up into 4th place. He's going to be hoping to close down here a little bit on the drivers ahead of him, although we do have a little bit of lap traffic getting in the way. Some of those drivers that have come in and out of the pits after getting that spare car. Ooh, that was a little bit of a scary line there for Cerulli as they try to be able to get themselves around. Levy holding off well, and that's a good line there for Yaron, just holding off, not necessarily wanting to be in full attack mode and having to be cognizant of what that driver in front of them is doing. That is the most crucial thing here coming up and over the hill, is making sure you adjust your braking point so we don't have an incident like we did on the last lap going into Hell Corner.
Calm down, Nadav. Just calm it down. You're in 2nd place. We've got 12 minutes to go. You don't need to pass now. So running half a front wing's width away from the driver ahead, the mountain section, it's not necessary. But these guys are just absolutely going for it. Levy taking a slightly wide line there through the kink and into the chase. Stern just getting ahead of Chico in the background, but you're on, or you could go for a move here. Very easy to defend down into Murray's corner. I don't usually see too many last corner moves here at Bathurst, at least in the sim racing world. Once again, Levy's got it clean. Stern, meanwhile, he is, I think he's going to be done here by, apologies, that's Chico getting past Stern, I believe, and still Papashiado still trying to catch up to those drivers. Sterling's really catching up to the top two, by the way, gained by a second on that last lap, so if those top two keep on fighting, we could see a proper fight. There is Michael Sherling getting away from that kind of peloton pack, and that has really enabled him to unlock his pace. Still coming across some more back markers. Here comes the 22 of Euron. What a move right there. Fantastic stuff. You get so much grip through Quarry Bend. It's a wonderful corner, and Euron take full advantage of that, and he's back up into the lead.
Back up and into the lead there with a heads-up pass around the outside, and now it's going to be Cerulli that has to try to be able to keep everything together here. And something we haven't really talked about is some of the aero wash that you will get off of these open-wheel vehicles. Now, we're obviously not running here, as you mentioned earlier, on the F3s or some of the higher downforce models here, but even in this iR-04, you can get a little bit of that aero wash, as we've had a driver there that is one of the lapped cars having an issue just before Skyline. I believe that may have been Ventura that went off. Let's take a look and watch the reactions here from your leader, Nadav Yaron, as he was able to get that. Oh, that car was sideways from the beginning and just out of control.
Well, fortunately, it was out of the racing line as well. Oh, that's just not what you want to see. Imagine doing 12 hours at this place. Bathurst 12 hours, what an event. And it's, absolutely crazy how that stuff doesn't happen more often. But halfway through this race, and Levy within half a second right now. Not too many battles going on further down the order, by the way. The only two kind of pairs of drivers who are within a second of one another are Yaron and Levy, and then Sherling and, Chico and Stern. So that's pretty much it out there. We've also got Sir and Galili, maybe a little bit close. And the lead is close again. There's a little bit of contact being made, and Levy gets ahead of Euron. And I feel like, DJ, these guys are battling so hard. I hope it's in good spirits. Otherwise, this might get a bit personal. And I'm sure you've seen it in the past when battles get personal, it's very easy to see. They start squeezing one another a little bit more. And that's the last thing that these guys need to do.
Yeah, exactly. And you see the defensive line there from Levy trying to hold that out a little bit, going to the outside, trying to break the draft. But Yaron saying, that's fine. I went around the outside last time. I'll go around the inside this time. Going down into the corner, and there's contact between the two. Both of your leaders, Cerulli and Yaron, spinning out. It looks like Cerulli's going to be able to continue on, but there is Michael Sherling able to get himself back ahead in the number 200. But what this has done is this is now allowed for the top 5 to all close in on one another.
Well, we told them, and they didn't listen, did they?
No, they didn't.
We were saying, why are you running so close, guys? Well, Levy's still driving quite well, but what's happening to Sherling is he's slightly off balance. He seems to not be totally confident out there. He's taking some unusual lines. Chico's trying to get past. Does he get up the inside into McPhillamy Park there? No. But Sherling all of a sudden seems to be a little bit unconfident, but surely Levy's got damage from that. Sorry, like that was a hefty contact, wheel to wheel, and well, Sherling's just all over the place right now. Chico's way faster. He could win this race from absolutely nowhere. Could John Chico?
Yeah, he certainly has a chance to, and a much better run there off of Forest Elbow. You can see that draft coming into play. Sherling, I wonder if he just got into his head a little bit coming up and over the hill. I've heard many times that you have to fully commit going up the hill, but look at that straight line difference as it looks like Sherling's able to pull away. I wonder if we're dealing with a little bit of a difference run here, as here comes Chico. They're going to be side by side going down into the chase. That's going to be Sherling holding off at the inside line. Looking for a little bit of a crossover there is John Chico, but it's not going to play. And look what this is allowed to now have happen. The number 11 there of Tal Stern is going to get right involved in this battle, as is Nadav Yaron. There up to the inside goes the 0-4, though. John Chico sending the move on Sherling. He's going to immediately go defensive off to the inside of the track. The 22 trying to gain a little bit of ground there as they come. They're going to be single file going down into Hell Corner, but that was an almighty scrap coming through the last one.
Look at Papachade as well behind. Remember how he spun early on in the race? He'd be probably at the front of this pack if it weren't for that spin. And he's really catching up, just set the fastest lap of the race, at least out of the amateur drivers, but certainly still catching up to these drivers. As the 0-4 and the 200 alongside again, still Chico ahead. And I feel like this is his opportunity now to start pulling away from these drivers who he does seem to be a fair bit faster than right now. Meanwhile, Yaron ahead of Stern still. That's dreadful previous lap for Nadav Yaron. But well, I'm surprised Yaron's car is alright. If I'm totally honest, that impact looked worse.
Yeah, it looked very bad, and just taking a quick glance at the car, I'm not noticing any front wing damage on the nose of that machine, so I think he may have gotten away with that relatively scot-free, and we would notice if there was a little bit of mishandling there coming up and over the hill. He would lose a lot of time if the steering was a little bit cockeyed, but it doesn't look like that is the case. That car, with some miracle being okay, I do spy a little bit of damage there on the rear wing, and that... Yeah, that may explain that loss of straight line speed.
Oh no, he's done it again! Into Forest Elbow. Where's the other car? How did Sherling hang on to that? How did he hang... Or did Sherling drop behind? No, Sherling's still ahead. I don't know how Sherling hung on to that. That looked like a destination wall all the way.
Yeah, it certainly did, and there we can see that lack of straight line speed really coming back to hurt Yaron as Tal Stern passes him like he's standing still at that point on the track. They work their way through the kink right now. About 5 minutes left to go on the clock with lap times at about 2:08 right now. I would imagine that we're going to be in a run here with 3 to go at the line. Now here for Yaron, he's going to have a little bit of a look going down into Murray's. Not going to be anything there for Tal Stern, and I've got to think once they get themselves onto the mountain straight, that's going to open up things. There is your AM class leader, though, Papachado, as he runs right now in the number 60 in 6th place, and once again, the leader of that AM category. And I think here, if you are behind the wheel of that number 60, you're relatively content to run along because there is your closest competitor in the form of Bertie Galili.
Yeah, that's a huge gap right now for Papachado. Really can take it easy. Galili and Sir, is that gap coming down? It is. 2 seconds a lap faster was Sher on that last... apologies. Well, no, sorry. Sir had an awful lap that last time. I must have made a mistake. 3 seconds off. But Sir's best lap is faster than Galili's best lap. So I think if he started to match those times again, he would be catching up, and no damage visibly on that car for him. So there's no reason not to. But yeah, clearly made a big mistake on that last tour of the track. As Stern under huge pressure right now from Euron. I still don't get how those cars have more damage, but yeah, you can see that slight infliction on the rear wing. Even Chacha, by the way, just saying the fastest up the race. It's a shame, he's 20 seconds behind the best car, but he's giving it a go out there.
Well, and the crucial thing here for Reuven is that he is going to find himself in 11th position. We mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. There is a 10-place inversion for these cars. So Reuven at this point has to make up about 20 seconds. Otherwise, he will be starting 11th in that next race, and he will have it all to do for come race 2. But that's about as perfect as you can take the corner through Quarry Bend right now as he works his way up the hill. Working now up the hill. We ride on board with the number 1 as he brings it around there through Reed Park. This is the part of the circuit that, well, it's a little bit deceptive. It's very, very high speed at this point in the track, and you really focus in on being worried about coming down over Skyline and through the S's and through the Dipper. But this part of the track is one of the ones that always throws me off, but it looks like here the Chashashvili absolutely has this car together. Big clobber of the curbs, though, over Skyline. That almost threw him off into the wall.
My goodness, DJ. I mean, you have done a lot of commentary, and you are boasting about a driver at the top of the mountain at Bathurst. Do you want him to crash? Do you want him to crash, as he does now clip the wall? That is all your fault, DJ. Hopefully you're proud, because honestly, how he kept it in a straight line for that long, despite yourself, was incredible. As here comes Chico, up the inside. He is flying along as John Chico. The man starts in P19. He's up to the lead. Number 4 leads the way. Levy in second place. Surely with some damage. He has got some front wing damage, I think, as though that is going to be killing his straight line speed. And Sherling is staying there, but Sherling has to get past Levy right away, otherwise Chico will be gone. I don't think Levy's got the pace to keep up with Chico. However, the images that we're currently seeing on screen are totally going against my point.
Well, and I think here that we're going to be running into the same problem with Levy that we did run into with Euron, that damage on the car is going to be slowing him down in a straight line. And if that is the case, then he will be an absolute sitting duck by the time we get to the Conrad Straight. And indeed, Sherling throwing the most unbelievable of passes there into Skyline, able to get that move done. That is not an area that passing is recommended nor even advised. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that was absolutely mega. And what a move it was, because he had to try to stay close to Chico. I think this was worth it. You can see they've lost car lengths now to the race leader because of this move. But you do occasionally see this one, and credit to Levy. He knew he was beat. He left the door open. And once you're on the outside in that scenario, it's gone. Sherling, within the draft range, has got the gap down to about 0.4 of a second now to the race leader, just under that, in fact, as they head onto the brakes with one more lap to go. Euron, meanwhile, still yet to get past Stern. Remember, he did hit the wall earlier on, did Euron? But not too suffering with that straight line speed. That might be the difference, though, why he is not able to get past. And Sherling doing a really good job. I honestly thought he wouldn't keep up. As Chico, has he gone into the wall? He has. And we have another race leader. I swear that's 6 race leaders we've had in this race. And Chico drops down. It's not game over, though. Levy in second place with that damage, however. He's going to need the lap of his life in order to make this move back up. But Chico had that win. Surely one hand on the race win right there, but he's just sent it in too deep into the final corner.
Yeah, we watch on board here from Michael Sherling, and you called it right, just a little bit off the apex there, coming down into Murray's corner. I think maybe tried to overcorrect a little bit, and that induced a snap of oversteer. Indeed, he was a very lucky driver to be able to keep that car pointed the right way, but now this sets up the battle between Sherling and Levy as they climb up the hill here through the cutting. Remember, Levy with a little bit of that front wing damage. Is John Chico going to be able to pick up 2 places here? That's going to be the real question that I'm going to keep my eyes on as they rise up through McPhillamy Park right now, down into Solman, and here they come, heading towards Skyline. We saw an incredible pass last time around by Michael Sherling going into Skyline. I don't think John Chico is going to be close enough to reinstitute that magic, and indeed he's going to stay in line here. Chico may have to settle for second place, as it just doesn't look like he is going to be able to get up to Michael Sherling in enough time.
Well, Levy's really nailed this downhill section, honestly. The Forest Elbow, he is within 4 tenths of a second, so Chico's 7 tenths behind, but with a double slipstream pretty much, so he can get the toe off Levy and get the toe off Sherling. It might be pushing it a bit too far, but here comes Chico, who's got way better straight line speed than Levy. Remember that damaged front wing, it's absolutely killing the second place man right now. Sherling, though, still a little bit clear. It's going to have to be an absolute send from Chico if he's going to win this race.
It is going to be an absolute send as, ooh, big wiggle there for the 0-4 coming down into the cutting. He is going to be within a car length here as they come out of the final corner. He's going to have to go the long way around, though, as Michael Sherling goes defensive, coming down into Murray's corner. This is going to be a duel to the line. Does John Chico dare outbreak him? No, he's going to look for the crossover. Almost contact there between the two. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Who's going to have it? It's going to be Sherling by 16 thousandths of a second.
Well, I think that's the best race I've ever seen in iRacing as well, and I've seen a fair few. That was absolutely mega, and credit to Chico, he tried as much as possible, but I said it earlier on, you don't usually see many last corner moves. I thought Sherling had actually sent it in too deep. I thought he was a goner. I thought he was really going to struggle to get it close, but it wasn't the best run for Chico himself, and that was enough for Sherling to keep the lead, and well, what a race win. I think Sherling was the one driver in the entire field who didn't make a mistake in that entire race. And that's what got it for him. Papachado managing to win in the AMS. I mean, he had the pace to win in the overall. If I'm totally honest, he was setting lots of quick times near the end there. And it looks like 10th place is going to be Shiran Kaner. I thought someone was going to crash. Chacha, though, remains in 11th position. And we will have a very unpredictable front of the field for race 2.
Yes, indeed, we will, as we watch the last couple of drivers here to come across the line. Amir Mashulam here in the 777, bringing that car down through the cutting. That is Yossi Gabe there that you can see in the background as they work their way through the cutting right now. This is for 12th place overall and 8th and 9th in the pro category. As now they come down into Murray's corner here, working their way through, and it's going to be a pretty easy run to the line here for the two of them. That'll be 12th and 13th overall, as now we just wait for Zubarev as he comes down into the line through that last corner in the 0-3-0, and it looks like that's going to be a pretty easy fare for him. My goodness, you said it earlier, that is one of the better races that I have seen here on iRacing. Absolutely remarkable stuff, but we're not done for the day, folks. That's right, we get to re-rack, restack, and do this all over again. As you said, Sheeran Kane are going to line up in pole position with Sheer to his outside. Sir and Galili behind them, Papachado, and then none of your own. Tal Stern and Lior Levy will be in P8, Chico 9th, and Sherling in 10th. Chachashvili will start off in 11th. That's going to be a driver to watch out for, followed by Amir Mashulam in 12th place. Yossi Gabe lines up 13th, followed by Mark Zubarev, then Yaroslav Malkov, and Ariel Debush. Then it's going to be Yamarkov and Bakar, Levi, Ventura, Tabachnik, and Mazuz rounding out your 22-car grid here as we wait for everybody to get back going. And I don't know what these boys have in store for us here, but if it is anything like that first race, I cannot wait until this green flag flies.
Yeah, here we go. Not much turnaround time for the drivers. Who's learned from their mistakes in race 1?
Who's learned indeed as the lights go out and we get racing in Bathurst. Talk about a start there from Kaner. That's going to be a great pull away there from them. The 60 there of Papachado is going to have a good run as well, going down into the first corner. Good move around the outside there for the number 1, as there is a big coming together coming out of Hell Corner.
Well, that was Bakar, Zubarev, Malkov again. How today's gone badly for Malkov. And a couple of other, I think Levy as well was involved in that one. Yeah, Chico as well. Gosh, crazy start. I mean, absolutely craziness off this race start. So it's Kaner leading the way, 1.2 seconds clear. Stern only just ahead of Galili and Papachado at the moment. And yeah, still many AMs, 4 AMs in that top 6 as the 22 of Yaron gets cut off by Tabashnik. Both of them have good opportunities. Tabashnik up 11 places. He's scaled half the grid in 2 corners.
That is a very, very impressive run for him. We focus in on Michael Scherling right now, up 3 positions. Your last race winner here in the number 200, looking a little bit frisky there, trying to get around Bertie Galili. Is he going to try to send another move going down into Skyline? No. Driver off in front of him, cut the course entirely. I'm not sure exactly who that was, but that's going to be a slowdown penalty for sure as they work their way through the S's and the Dipper. I believe that may have been Tal Stern in the 11 that cut the corner.
Oh, no.
And that's going to be another coming together down through Forest Elbow.
Well, this space is often roads, and that was a traffic jam right there. What was that? What was that? One driver they were just all slowing up behind one driver, I think. Oh, was it Chacha who they were slowing behind? No, or was it Stern? I think it was Stern that they were slowing behind then. Maybe it was Stern with a slowdown or damage. And yeah, it was just a matter of time till that happened. Everyone having to get on the brakes. Oh, and we've nearly got a spin around there. That was Scher getting super close to Sir. Papachado now up into 3rd position. Papachado might be the highest point scorer of anyone tonight if this continues on as it is. And yeah, Sir now leading in the amateur class as the 46 machine of Levy is losing a couple of positions. Of course, we know that Levy's one of the fastest drivers out there, so that is unusual. Chacha, I think, started from the pits, perhaps, because he didn't really gain a whole lot on that first lap, and he's got barely... Oh, no, I think that is a little bit of damage, actually, DJ, on that front wing.
I think he may have been involved in that first corner incident that threw him off, and that could be the problem. Very, very slow here, though, for Levy as he brings his way onto the mountain straight. 4th gear, did he maybe get a cut course penalty? That can be the only explanation that I can see, although that car does almost look for a second there like it was crabbing slightly. Oh, big off in front. That's Bertie Galili hard into the barriers outside of Quarry Bend.
Had a good chance at some good points. Galili had a good race 1 as well. Didn't make too many mistakes on that occasion. But, oh, well, he's got very greedy there. Oh, and then there was the hit behind. Would that been Tabashnik, perhaps, with the contact behind? I'm trying to remember where Galili was at the end of the previous lap.
I believe it may have been Tabashnik.
Well,
another driver off. Yeah, there's the 69. Tabashnik clearly with some damage from that contact, so you called that exactly right. Let's go back and check out the replay here as we watch the car working its way up. I see a little bit of a scuff there on the front nose of the car, so that could have been the answer for it. But, ooh, driver off in front. We watch
that was Tabashnik. Yeah, so that was Euron getting past, and Tabashnik with the spin. Yep, that was big problems on that lap. And now we have Kana then leading by 7.5 seconds. 7.5 seconds. Decent pace, 2-minute 10s, but we've seen 2-minute 8s so far tonight. So if someone really quick can get up there, then they might be able to catch by the end of this race. That was good driving from everyone involved between Stern, Chacha, and Euron. But I feel like this is just a matter of time until Chacha get past. If he does have damage, it is not slowing him up.
No, it certainly doesn't look that way, and he does look like he have damage there on the right front of that wing, but he's able to get around the outside there of Tal Stern as they work their way onto the pit straight right now, and now it looks like Nadav Euron is going to be wanting a little bit of helping of that as well, trying to put Tal Stern down another position. He's going to carry momentum. There is Euron around the outside of Hell Corner as they work their way onto the mountain straight right now. Tal Stern, though, is going to be getting a nice heaping of the draft here as they work their way towards Quarry Bend, but it doesn't quite look like did he lift a little bit out of that potentially. I think he may have, so maybe not wanting to make the attack here quite yet, being a little bit content to just ride along in line.
Yeah, quite happy to be behind right now as we do see a replay of Tabashnik. Okay, so he'd already slid there. I think he had damage. Oh well, yeah, almost certainly had damage. I mean, those bumps can unsettle you, but I think that was a fairly normal line there, so it's unusual for him to lose grip like he did.
Yeah, not to that degree are we used to seeing anything get really unsettled there, but as we check back in on the battle between Euron and Tal Stern right now, Ruben Chachashvili running away from the front of this group to the tune of about 1.1 seconds. Crucially, that's going to be out of the draft here of Nadav Euron as they now come down through the Dipper and the S's, working their way down the hill, trying to see what is going to play out here. They've got to be a little bit careful behind because that is Ventura. Oh, as that's Papachado off!
And I usually disagree with drivers desperately rejoining very quickly, but I think that was probably the right thing to do there because he was right on the racing line and managed to avoid everyone. Oh no. That was good points for Papachado. Could have been the highest point score of anyone, not just in the AMs, of anyone tonight. But, well, we'll see the mistake. No damage on this car so far. Oh, it's just... Well, I'm not sure if it was even late on the brakes, honestly. Just maybe a late turn in. And that was that really Sir who got past straight away? Did a brilliant job at managing to avoid. Really tight line and had to get on the brakes, I imagine, mid-corner to avoid.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think
oh, no, Kaner's off. I think Kaner's off. Well, okay, he was off for a moment. I mean, with the way that today's gone, I wasn't the slightest surprised.
Anything can happen here at Bathurst, and most times it does. Let's watch that little off here from Kaner. Now, that's a good line coming out of Murray's corner right now. This looks like it's coming down into Hell's corner, the first corner on the circuit. Brings it around through. Did he just run a little bit wide? Yes, he did. I think he managed to avoid contact there, but it was very close between the 48 and the outside wall.
I mean, this is a track with a lot of walls very close to the circuit. There's no need to make other corners close to the wall either. That was a mad line right there. And I'm surprised he stays so committed to it. He was on the throttle about an inch away from the wall right there. But Kaner gets away with it. He's got 10 seconds clear. He should be fine for pace. He's in the 2-minute 8s as well. I was saying earlier on how he was in the 2-minute 10s, so wall's a bit vulnerable. But if he's doing 8s, there's no way that he's going to be caught by anyone else on this track. In fact, he was the fastest man of anyone on that last tour of the circuit. Doesn't seem like Charger's got the pace. I think that traffic that he's got, along with a little bit of damage, isn't going to now allow him to get into the 7s and really, frankly, the 6s that you'd need to get in order to catch by the end of the race. Sure, getting caught right now by Levy. Levy was 5 seconds faster on that last lap. That's the battle for P6. Overall, that is 2nd and 5th, respectively, in the Pro and Am categories.
Yeah, some good battles starting to shape themselves out here as we tick closer and closer to the halfway point here in the second race of the day. Here is that battle you were talking about. Levy trying to be able to get the move on Iden Shear, and they're going to be in a straight drag race here coming down the mountain straight. The 46 there, a little bit of damage on the front nose of that car. Going to have to tuck back behind in the draft and try to make this move into the braking zone of the chase. I don't think he's going to be able to get that done going down the straightaway, and indeed he's going to have to be very, very ambitious, and ambitious he is. My goodness, Levy barely making the corner, but able to get by the number 2 nonetheless. That was a very impressive move from the 46.
Absolutely super stuff. He was so far clear, wasn't he, by the time that they got to the apex? It wasn't even close, and sure, he was a little bit wide, as you say, but he still had plenty enough once he got that track position. It's tricky for the opponent to come back, and so great work there from Levy, and he... Well, could he catch up to Stern? I mean, Stern's been very solid so far tonight in the 2-minute 9s. But I think these front guys are all very competitive. I think the man who's a little bit out of position right now is really Sir. He is being caught quickly by Reuven Charger and Nadav Yoron. These two in the 2-minute 8s, Sir in the 2-minute 10s that last time around. Frankly, with half the race to go, I don't think this is really a competition. I think this is just a matter of time till these two both stream past. The question is, can Chacha get it done in the mountain section? He's going to try to do it, but if he's not ahead, heading through the cutting, then I don't think he's going to be able to get it done. He just squeezes his way round through Reed Park, apologies, and Chacha up to 2nd position. That was a mighty move and good driving as well from Sir.
Oh, and look here behind Nadav Yoron trying to be able to take a little bit of advantage as well on Really Sir with Reuven Chachashvili up ahead. Thinking about a move there going down into Skyline. They're going to be side by side as they work their way through the S's, and eventually there Yoron has to give up the ghost a little bit as they now come down through the dipper. There's going to be some slower cars up ahead. That is lap traffic. Oh, that was dangerously close coming down into Forest Elbow, and look at what that has done to the gap here between Really Sir and Nadav Yoron. That has expanded that out a little bit to the tune of about a half a second. So that means that there is going to be all the more work to do here for Nadav Yoron in that number 22. I don't think he's going to be in position to really get an attack done going down into the corner, into the chase, and indeed he's going to have to just stay in line here. That lapped car really throwing him off his game, and that's a little bit unfortunate because I think we were in tune for a very, very good pass, but we now ride on board the rule hoop here of the number 22. getting closer all the while. The gap's down to about 0.2 of a second. That's going to be really Sir going defensive. Yaron thinking about a crossover move, but good defense there from really Sir, just blocking off that apex.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of time. He's going to get him into Hell Corner, it looks like. And so, more of a fight than I thought he would do, honestly. But that time, he realised he was beat. And he's down, well, still top of the amateur drivers. That is the competition that he needs to be stressing about right now. But yeah, the driver who held them up was Yamarkov, by the way. And yeah, just really unsettled, it seemed, heading down the mountain. And that is what let him down. But I feel bad for Yuron. He had the pace to keep up with Chacha. He was keeping up with Chacha, at least with the toe. He was even pace with him. And now that extra bit of batsing has completely thrown him off. Chacha, 13 seconds to catch. Now, if this was an hour-long race, I'd be saying, well, maybe he's got 8 minutes. It's not going to happen unless Kana makes a mistake, which, well, of course, he very nearly did just a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, he certainly did, and this track will come out and bite you here, but knock on your Apex Racing TV patented block of wood there if you are a fan here of Sharon Kaner as he works his way down the hill towards Forest Elbow. We ride on board the roll hoop right now. Good line there coming off of the corner. You can tell he's, I think, being a little bit conservative there, Sam. You didn't see him run it all the way out to that outside wall as you do when you're really, really pushing, and I think that, to me, says right now that this number 48 machine is content where they are. They know they've got a 12.5-second gap, and even on that last lap, Reuven Chacha was only about 0.2 of a second faster than Kaner, so that doesn't necessarily mean that Chachashvili will be able to close in time.
Maybe you have like a wood chip or something over there where you live, DJ, because I mean, I'm being a bit cautious about Kaner's chances right now. You are absolutely throwing the curse at him, if I've ever heard one before. And after earlier on tonight, I'm surprised that you're going for it, honestly. But we'll see how it turns out. As I see Kaner briefly off the circuit once again, but again, he is absolutely fine out there. Yeah, quite close, like sort of down the field. Not any super tight battles, but there's a lot of drivers within sort of 10 seconds of one another, and with so many issues for a lot of the drivers, with drivers having to take pit stops. I mean, half the field have had to come into the pit stops. Everyone from 10th down has had to make a pit stop. There are a few drivers who are out of position and could potentially make their way up to the top by the end. So do keep on watching for this whole 20 minutes. I do feel like something else is going to happen before the remainder of the events. I don't know if we could maybe go back to the start and see what happened at Hell Corner. It will be a little while back, but yeah, we might be able to see exactly what that kerfuffle was right at the start of the race.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see that there, and it'd be interesting to see if we were indeed correct in our assessment that Reuven Chachashvili was involved in that incident. And if he was, that makes it all the more impressive that the number one has been able to bring their way back forward as we bring you back here on a replay right now, focusing on Reuven Chacha as he makes his way forward in the field. Let's see if he was indeed involved in this incident. Takes a wide line there through the corner. There you see it off in front of him. He was a little bit tangled up. It wasn't a heavy impact there, but he definitely was slowed, had to dive onto the blinders, and actually came to a complete stop there to be able to let the cars in front of him go by. And so that was certainly a very, very close run there for him, and frankly, that makes his run through the field all the more impressive.
Yeah, these F4 cars are strong, aren't they? I mean, we literally see two drivers get thrown into the wall at Quarry Bend and just continue and fight for the lead. And then you see an incident like that, and yeah, Chacha's up in second place, still doing very strong times. No doubt he's lost time. I'm sure he's a few tenths of a second slower than he would otherwise have been. But yeah, pretty much fine is that car. So this F4 car is one of the strongest on the sim, it seems. I wonder if anyone will be doing the Bathurst jump come the end of the race, and well, that'll be a good test of the suspension of the car. See if it can hold on to all four wheels when the drivers attempt that one. Okay, what's going on here? Sir being caught by Stern by half a second. Stern being caught by Levy by half a second. So, give it 3 laps. These guys will be on top of one another, I think. So getting a little bit of a draft from Yaron ahead, but Yaron is pulling away. I think Yaron, Well, it feels like a while ago that Euron got past, but I think it has just been quite recently, and he is pulling away. Don't worry about Euron, he will be a comfortable 3rd place as long as he doesn't make a mistake. But yeah, it could be tight for that 4th, 5th, 6th place overall by the end of the race.
Yeah, it could be very, very tight indeed. And as we watch Ruben Chacha making his way up the hill, we want to thank a few of our sponsors here for the race, namely Virtual Racing School, which will help you to improve your on-track performance and be able to master such tricky circuits as Bathurst here, with over 50-plus data packs for road and oval, setups, track guides, data analysis software, including one-on-one coaching. And we also want to recommend you check out Apex Racing Academy, which is able to fully integrate with the VRS software with 29 additional data packs, setups, track guides, weekly group coaching sessions, and more. So if you want to be able to maximize your speed and really be able to drive like some of these incredible drivers that we're seeing out here today in the iRacing Israel League, go ahead and check out the Virtual Racing School or the Apex Racing Academy. Ruben Chacha trying to bring that gap down to the best of his abilities here, but it is still resolutely hovering at about 12 seconds here on the last lap. He was a half second faster than Sharon Kaner up ahead of him, but I just don't think he has got enough time to really close this in with only about 3 minutes left to go. This should be 2 to go at the line for your leader in the number 48, and indeed as he crosses over, I'm hearing word from Barney the Flagman that will be 2 to go for Kaner.
Just want to see Chacha in the 7s, and there you go. 2 minutes 7.9. I think that's the first one we've seen, at least in the races. I'm not sure what his qualifying time was, as I think Schur has had a slight problem. This has dropped him behind Tommy Ventura, and there it was. That was a lazy spin, and well, actually, I don't see. Oh, there is Ventura. There is Ventura getting past, and that is why Toma Ventura is in 13th place. Up 13 places from his start as well, so a lot of places getting started 3rd to last, and he's up to 7th place overall and 2nd in the AMS. That is some effort, albeit a long, long way behind Sir. Well, I'll say that, 13 seconds behind Sir, so not a huge gap, but a comfortable margin for Sir, who is still being caught right now by Stern. Levy actually dropped off that last lap. I think it was a bit of a poor lap there for Leo Levy. So he's now in 5th position and isn't going to catch by the end of the race, but Stern is, because he's already in the draft. And these are full cars, they're so grippy in comparison to their weight. I mean, it's easy flats out through a few of these corners at the top of the mountain. And actually, you can get the draft around this part of the circuit. I mean, it's crazy. I get so used to driving GTs around this place where, you know, you got to be cautious into each one of these corners. When you get into these junior formula, then the track sorts of changes, and you know, that comment from yourself earlier on, DJ, about how, you know, you got 2 different parts, it almost turns completely into a slipstream track.
Yeah, it certainly does, and that's one of the joys here of the simulators, that we normally don't see these open-wheel machines running on Mount Panorama in the real world, but on the sim we are certainly able to do that as we ride on board with Tal Stern here in the number 11, getting a nice heaping of that draft that you mentioned from Really Sir up ahead of him, the gap coming down to about 3.5 tenths of a second as they work their way.
Is he in the limiter? So
yes, he is. Yeah, he is in the limiter.
Yeah, I mean, he's got no straight line speed, but he's so much quicker through the corners. I think he should get it done even just with 1 lap to go.
You very well might, Sir, trying to block off the middle of the track as much as possible, but moves back over to the optimal racing line to cut through on Murray's corner. And that's going to be Sir running a little bit wide, but doing what he needs to do to keep Tal Stern behind him here for the moment. Stern, though, is going to know that he is going to be coming on. White flag waving there in the background. 1 lap to go at Bathurst as here they come. Will Stern be able to get this done over Really Sir? We take a look there out the rear wing of the number 36, the 11, pulling up behind, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to really send that move going down into Quarry Bend. Going to have to find another area of the track to get that move done. As indeed, late under braking though, and indeed a little bit of a lockup there for Stern, and that car getting a little bit squirrely coming through the corner. Was that the little minor mistake that could grant Sir this 4th place position overall?
Oh, and so there's another, so he's into the wall. That's going to be contact, and well, he was fairly square. So I think he's got away with that one, but we'll see. This will be a good test over these bumps and over this elevation change. Oh, Stern so had that. He was so much quicker through the corners. It wasn't like he was over pushing or anything, but he's just maybe overheated the tyres, perhaps. I can only imagine. And he's had a couple of absolute awful corners right there at the start of this lap. Levy 1.7 seconds behind, but I think Stern is going to survive. He hasn't got any aero damage there. He should have good strength and speed up. It is wide again. Oh, has he hit the wall again, or has he got away with that one? Wow, he's all over the place, Stern. Maybe that handling is a little bit worse. It's difficult for us to see, but if it's the rear tyre, you're not necessarily going to see the steering wheel out of whack. And he is definitely struggling, but out's in the lead. This man has been absolutely dominant. I know he had pole position, but he has been, apart from that one mistake at turn 1, faultless.
Absolutely pixel perfect race here for Sheeran Kaner as he's going to come out of the final corner and cross over the start finish line to take victory at Mount Panorama. The number 48 running to the line, Ruben Chachashvili, able to get through that opening lap incident. Ruben is going to take P2 here, and that's a great run there for him. Nadav Yaron, your next driver to come through. One more corner to go through Murray's corner right now, and he will come to the line just ahead of Really Sir. Now the question is between Stir and Levi, if there's going to be anything, is that's Levi into the wall. Oh my goodness.
Oh, well, he was trying it. I think he was just getting early on the filter. He was probably on the filter before the corner even came round. And into the wall he went. Oh, well, it was an annoying day in the end for Levi, albeit, well, third place in race 1, albeit I think a lot of drivers will be thinking they could have won race 1. I think Levy will be one of them. Papu Shado, we're going to have a winner of the drivers who had to come into the pits. And Papu Shado is going to win this this race. But a casually good drive from him to finish in P9 after that awful start for him. And top of the arms, of course, a slightly more important prestige. Really, sir, congratulations to him after a very good race 1 as well, finishing up in 8th position. So I believe he will be the highest scoring AM driver tonight.
Believe he will be as well as Michael Sherlin comes across the line. Now we wait for Yossi Gabe to come across as well. Just waiting for 2 more drivers here. Levi behind him. Arnon Levi going to be the latest one to come over as Yossi Gabe will take 12th overall. And then Arnon here in 13th will come down to the line as this will be your final finisher on the day, bringing it through Murray's corner right now and across the line to finish out race 2 from the iRacing Israel League from Mount Panorama. Let's go ahead and run you through that final finishing order just for everything to go through. It was Kaner able to take that victory over Ruben Chachashvili, and then Nadav Yaron in 3rd place in the pro category. Really Sir was able to take home the AM class victory, followed by Tal Stern and Levy as they came across. Tomer Ventura and Aiden Shear round out your AM podium, followed by Papachado, as you said earlier, Sam, sort of the driver that won the battle of drivers coming in and out of the pits. Then it was Bertie Galili, Michael Sherling, Yossi Gabe, Arnon Levi, Avid Yamakarov, and then we get into some of the drivers that had a little bit of a rough day out there. John Chico, Yaroslav Molkov, Dorian Tabachnik, Amir Mashulam, Mark Zubarev, farther down in the order, Ariel DeBush, Madi Bakar, and Ofer Mazuz. And that will bring us to a few of the interviews that we have here. And first and foremost, John Chico, who certainly had a little bit of a rough run there in that second race. John, not really the way you wanted to be doing everything here, but how are you feeling about this circuit nonetheless?
Hey guys, yeah, second race. It was kind of a replay of the second race at Laguna Seca, where somebody slid in front of me and I just couldn't do anything, and that's it. So that kind of ended my second race. But I gotta tap myself on the shoulder a little bit, for the first one, starting 19th. I noticed I wasn't gonna get a good qualified time, so I decided maybe I'll just start at the back and see if I can gain some extra points for most passes. And I think I got that. I think I passed like 18 or 19 cars. Yeah, so but it was crazy. It was a crazy race, the first one. I really don't know what got into me on the second to last lap on the last corner, why I messed that up, but I don't know. I was cool. I wasn't stressed. I don't know what happened, but anyway, it got the better of me, and that drag race to the line, that was fun. That was fun. I didn't want to well, it may seem like I pressed the issue a little bit with Sherling, but considering I knew I was going to get the points for the most places gained and second place, I didn't want to go overboard. So I just did as much as I can with a good safety margin on that last corner. But yeah, it was a fun race. It was good.
Well, always good to hear you sort of about that mentality, and I love hearing that about the way you really approached that first race. But I'm curious, John. You know, this is a track that, from everyone that I talk to, you either love it or you hate it. And in which camp do you fall in here on it? Do you love the rhythm of this track, or is this one that is just sort of you got to run it when you have to run it?
I'm I'm struggling with what tracks I don't like, but this one definitely falls in the category of tracks that I like. Anything, I'll race anything on this except maybe the cars that were born on this track, the V8 supercars, muscle cars, whatever they're called. Those are insane to drive on this track. It's just crazy. But yeah, I love the track. It was a good one. It was a good first race. It was a bad second one. But hey, it is what it is. It was good times, good times.
Good times indeed. And I've got to ask you now, as we look ahead, we head to just about as different of a track as you can imagine next time out in the form of Tsukuba. How do you like your chances there as we go from a big, massive, long circuit to a tiny little bull ring?
I love it. I love that track. I really do. I'm I was there a few years ago, but I only managed to get on the short track. The long track wasn't open, but I love it. It's iconic, from from all the way back to best motoring videos, all the way to today. It's a mecca, so I love it, and I'll race anything there as well.
Well, fantastic, John. A good result in that first race. Not the best in the second, but you've got Tsukuba to look forward to. Is there anybody you would like to thank for the run here today?
Yeah, Hagai Farhan for my equipment, everybody that's managing this league, sponsors, Tal, Amir, everybody, and all the racers, and Ruven and Yari. I don't know what happened with them ultimately. I'll still have to look at that. But congrats to at least Ruven. I think he finished second in the last race. So congrats to him, and thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. That was John Chico there. Obviously, as we said, not one of the best runs there in the second race, but the driver who was able to make up the most positions in that first race. And that, unfortunately, is going to start to bring things to a close for us here on Apex Racing TV. But on behalf of myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, as well as our director, Lewis Ward, we would like to thank you for joining us here today. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you the iRacing action from the iRacing Israel League. We will be back in 2 weeks' time for the run here at the Tsukuba 2000 circuit, and we look forward to seeing you there. But until we see you out on the track, thanks for watching.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.